down 5, pencils down 4, pencils down 3, pencils down 2, Mia's pencils down, not tapping, pencils down 1, and 0. Tamia's pencils down, Calvin's pencil is down, facing left, and he taps. Number 1, where does it mix? Number 53, 6 is the same. Miller. Good. Number 2, 7 and 4 eighths is how many eighths in all? Mia. Good. Number 3, 1 6 is what? Then 5 tenths. First, what is 5 tenths equivalent to? Give Ronnie a gator butt. What is 5 tenths equal to, Venetia? 5 tenths is the same as what? 1/10. Okay, so 5 tenths is the same as 1/2. Which is greater, 1/6 or 1/2? Think. Which is greater, 1/6 or 1/2? Zoe?
1/2.
Why?
Because what is 3/6 is 1/2, or 1/6 is 1/2.
Perfect. Let's keep going to number 4. 8 roots of 2 eighths is how many eighths, Kristen? What is 16 eighths equivalent to? Excellent job. Give yourself a gator butt. Number 5, 6 eighths is the same as how many 40ths? 6 eighths is the same as how many 40ths, Chloe? Nice work. What did you multiply by? 5 what? Good, 5/5. Excellent job. Put your markers, pencils down, close your binders, go. Take out that whiteboard that I gave you with the work already in there, and then have your binder closed. You have your whiteboard, you have your marker all ready. 5, 4, 3, sitting up straight, 2, I got Ronell, I got Jalen, I got Dennis, 1, markers down. Awesome, we got this. 1/10, 1/100, how do we write that as a decimal? 1/100th as a decimal. 1/10 is 0.1, so 100th is 0.01. Say it.
0.01.
Awesome. We're going to keep going. Think. Go.
0.02.
Awesome. Think. 300ths is
0.03.
awesome. Think. Go.
0.07.
Love it. Think. If 700ths is 0.07, then 1700ths, think. Go.
0.62.
Nice. Now, we just said that 1700ths is 0.17, which is 10 hundredths, and how many more hundredths to get to 17? Purple. Excellent job. Give Purple a gator book. Give Ronell a gator book for those hands. We got 10 hundredths plus what gets us to 13 hundredths? 3, 2, 1.
3.
3 what?
100.
Thank you. Use the whole thing. No, thank you, Leandro. Think. What's the missing part? Go.
900.
Nice. How do we write this as a fraction? 3, 2, 1.
500.
Nice. How to write this as a fraction? Go.
1500.
Go.
300.
Nice.
1300.
Go.
100.
Say that again.
100.
Thanks. Put your eyes on the board. And let's get ready.
Make sure you are tracking while I read. I'm going to read it once, and then you are going to read it again by yourself. The perimeter of a square measures 0.48 meters. What is the measure of each side length in centimeters? When you do this problem, you are going to read it to yourself to work out the answer to this problem. Do they know what perimeter is? Alright, for 3 silent independent minutes. Go. Kaylin's getting started right away on capping the marker. Lanisha's rereading the problem. What part? The perimeter of a square measures 0 to 4 outside of the box. Right, but in this box, this measurement of all four sides is 0 to 4.
So the whole perimeter inside is just area split. Rania's working silently on this problem. Lanisha's working silently. Kaylin's rereading. Alright, it's a point we're working. Right now it's a point where I'm supposed to make this.
Lanisha's drawing a model.
Kelvin's drawing the square so you can label each side. The whole perimeter is 48, not each side is 48. I'm gonna go to Dennis and then I'll come back to you. And I can look at it as a fraction now.
This is not a square. These are rhombus.
How many sides does a square have? 4. Okay, so why don't we draw that?
So Byron, at some point, everybody else has gotten started.
Can I get Byron cash?
Okay, now they said that every side added
So
up
not
in
the
this
inside,
is
the
the
perimeter.
perimeter is 48.
Yeah, the measurement around your box.
So that whole thing,
The
you have
whole
all the
measurement.
sides would be
This
48.
plus this plus this plus this.
All together, when you add up every single side, it's gonna equal 48 hundredths. Good, now let's draw the border. 12
Oh, I
centimeters.
see. This is not the area. You
How much
found the
in a meter?
area as 48. The perimeter
100 centimeters in a meter.
is 48. So this is all
So then
correct
what
for
fraction
area.
of a meter is that?
But we're doing perimeter, which is the measurement
Hey,
around.
Biscuit, Gator Buck,
The
he
whole
showed his work and he
perimeter is
modeled the
48.
problem, that was perfect. Now this one, it's 12.
This plus this.
Okay, so then what fraction of a meter is that? How many centimeters in a meter?
I love that the two of you are like advancing the problem to the next level. It's not that complicated.
Okay, so what fraction? 12.
Alright, regardless of whether you are done, and it's okay if you are not done, tap your markers and bring your attention back up front. The part where I saw most of you struggle was with the word perimeter. The perimeter means the outside measurement. So if you have a square, all 4 sides of that square together when added up equal 0.48 meters. a lot of you found area, and you found area correctly, which is great. Area is the inside measurement, it's length times width. Rania, you found the area correctly, but we were looking for perimeter, and a lot of you made that same error, which is why we asked you to read this problem twice. Erase your boards.
All right, so we've been working on converting from fractions to decimals. We've learned tenths, and then on Thursday, we started to work on what type? Not tenths, but hundredths. We're gonna keep working with tenths and hundredths today, going from fractions to decimals. So, the first thing I want you to do is take out that problem, this tenth, this whiteboard. No, just have it out, have it ready. All right, so we can show equivalents of 10 hundredths and 1/10 in the same way that we showed equivalents of 2/4 and 1/2, or 2/4 and 4/8. So we're gonna be using what we know of equivalent fractions today. The first thing I want you to do is sheet in 1/10 on that first area model. Go ahead, 1/10. Good. Now, go to the area model right next to it. And on that next area model right next to it, shade in 10 hundredths of the second one. Shade in 1/10. So by the end, Butler, yours should look like this, Dennis. 1/10 and 10 hundredths. 1/10, 10 hundredths. It's in your packet. Now I want you to label each one as a fraction. So underneath, label your first area model, label your second area model. Is this one 100? What is it? Good. So Nisha's labeling the first one 1/10, and the second one. Label it. By the end, your work should look like this. I want you to think about what you notice about both of these area models. You're going to talk to a partner in a second. What do you notice about both of these area models? Turn and talk in 3. Turn and talk in 2, Kayana. Turn and talk in 1. Turn and talk in 0. What do you notice? Go! Thank you, Lanisha's turning and talking. Chloe's turning and talking. You two can come and talk. Thank you. Dixon, what do you notice about these two? Hold on. And what about the demonstrator? Okay, so what do you notice about 1/10 and 100? What's the what? What do you notice? 5, 4, 3, 2, silent 1, and 0. Hand. What do you notice? Give Lanisha and Tamia and Chloe and Rania a gator buff for those hands up. I'm looking for some more scholarly hands. Hands down, Ron. Ron, what do you notice?
I noticed that they are.
Good, keep going.
They are. One of them, all of them has one pole and.
Okay, so each area model is equal to 1 pole. Butler, what do you notice? They what? They didn't go up by 1 because we have 1/10 and then 10 hundredths. They didn't go up by 1. Where did they go up by? Okay, so then we're by 10, but what else do you notice just about the shaded area? Butler, call on somebody. Well, she didn't. Thank you. Say that nice and loud.
They're both equivalent.
So what I want you to do is take your marker, write 1/10 is equal to 10 hundredths. Go ahead and write it. Now, underneath, let's write this as a decimal. 1/10 is equal to 100. 1/10 is equal to 10 hundredths. Write this equation as a decimal. Go. To me, it's starting with 0.1. Good. That's saying 1 is equal to 100. How do you write 1/10? Good. Wait. 1/10 is equal to 100? Yes. That's saying 1/10 is equal to 1,000. Track the board in 5, 4, 3. Track the board in 2. Track the board in 1, 0. Silent. Lanisha, how do we write this as an equivalent decimal?
0.1 equal to 0.10.
Good. 0. Maybe. Cool. Is it working now? 0.1 is equal to 0.10. I saw some of this though. I saw some of 0.1 is equal to 0.01. Think about what this is actually saying. What decimal is this? Huh? Yeah. Say it again.
100.
Is 100 the same as 110?
No.
So is this correct?
No.
Good. Go ahead. And on the second row, go to the second row of area models. And this time, I want you to shade in 30 hundredths on the second area model. Listen, 30 hundredths on the second area model. Go.
Can you repeat that instruction?
Yep, shade in 30 hundredths. Hundredths. Good. Hold up, that's perfect. Yeah. Now, with those 30 hundredths, label it as a fraction underneath. And then I want you to use this area model to figure out how many tenths are equivalent to 30 hundredths. Use your boxes, use your area models. How many tenths are equal to 30 hundredths? Shade it in. Level 1.
So we labeled that as 1.
So going to this first area model, shade in how many tenths are equal to 30 hundredths. Good. You've got it. You got it. Good. Good. Nice. Tell a partner how many, right here, that's the point. How many tenths are equal to 30 hundredths? Tell a partner.
3/10.
Tell me.
3/10.
Good. Now let's write this as a decimal. Go ahead and write this number sentence as a decimal. Go. Lanisha wrote it as a decimal. Chloe wrote this as a decimal. Mariah's writing 0.3. That's 3 ones. I want 0.3. Good. Miller, how do we write this as an equivalent decimal?
0.3 is equal to 0.30.
Excellent job. This is where we're going to kick it up a notch. So Butler before said, that we were getting bigger with the first one times 10. Right now, we have this number sentence, and we have 3 tenths is equal to 30 hundredths. Butler first said that we was getting bigger by 10. I want us to use division to figure out how we started with 30 hundredths and how we got to 3 tenths. We can use division. Go ahead and write this division sentence. 30 hundredths divided by blank equals 3 tenths. Use division and with your partner to find the missing fraction. 30 hundredths divided by what gets us to 3 tenths? Go ahead and fill out that blank. Go. Yes, Halen. What? 100 divided by good. Divided by 3. What's 30 divided by 3? Get out your problem set. Get out your multiplication. Thank you for helping her. Good. By 100, 10 and 100. What's 100 divided by 100? 100 divided by 100 is not 0. It's 1. So this isn't divided by 10 hundredths. It's divided by 1. Good. Fix it. Thank you, Halen. 5, 4, 3, silent 2, silent 1, silent 0. I need Dennis. I got Kion. I got Nia. I got Halen. Dixon, what did we divide by? Good. Why did we divide by 10? Why did we divide by 10? Kristen, give Lanisha, Dennis, Zoe, Kion, and Nia a gator buck for their participation. Why did we divide by 10? Hands down. Tracks up. Dennis, keep it up.
Because if we do, because
You got it.
3 times 10 is 30 and 2 times 10 is 100.
Okay, great. So it'll get us back. The division makes sense. Why else would we divide by 10? Dennis, go ahead. Because
3 times 10 is 30 and if we do 30 divided by 3 is 10.
what happens when in our place value, in our area models, when we divide by 10, we put all those 10s together, the piece got what?
Smaller.
Look. We started with what? 30.
100.
And then we got to 3
10.
And when we got to those 3 tenths, looking at those pieces, the pieces didn't get smaller, it became 10. Those pieces got bigger. Because when we divide to find the equivalent fractions, what's happening with those pieces? They are becoming what?
Smaller.
Because we're doing what with them?
Dividing.
Freeze. Can I have a marker? Just kidding. Thank you. When we divide by 10, we're putting into, here's a group of 10. Here's a group of 10 hundredths, and here's a group of 10 hundredths. What's happening to the sides of the pieces?
It's getting bigger.
Bigger. Okay, so why are we dividing by 10?
So it'll get smaller.
Freeze. But we're starting with 30 tenths. And we're dividing it by 10 to get to 3 tenths. Why are we dividing it by 10? Butler.
To make it smaller.
No, honey, look at the board. What's happening? The pieces are getting what?
Bigger.
Bigger. So why are we dividing it by 10?
So it can get bigger.
So the pieces get
Bigger.
and tenths. Are tenths bigger or smaller than hundredths? They are.
Bigger.
They are.
Bigger.
Freeze. Make this into a multiplication problem. 3 tenths is equal to how many hundredths? Write this as a multiplication sentence. Level 1. Thank you. So now partners. Good. You're 3. Where's your work here? 3 tenths times what? 3 tenths times what? Bless you. 3 tenths times over equals. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Kaylin, what's the multiplication sentence? Nice job. Nice work. Don't erase. Let's keep going. I want you to think. You can flip it over if you need more room, or you can write on your desk. Answer this question in a full sentence at a level 0. Is there a pattern as you are finding equivalent fractions from tenths and hundredths? Going from 1/10 to 10 hundredths and 3/10 to 30 hundredths. What is the pattern? Silent 1 minute to write. Go. Tamia saying blank, there is a pattern because. Okay, full sentence. Good. Keep going with that sentence. I'm liking the first full sentences. There is a pattern because. The pattern is blank. Good. And when we add that 0, what is that actually doing? When we add the 0 to this, it's just showing that we're multiplying by. Good. 10 seconds to finish up that sentence. But it doesn't always have a 3. What about 1/10 and 100? Or 1/10 and 10 hundredths? You're going to talk to your partner about the pattern. Dixon, you can go to Zoe. In 5, fix your body. 4, I don't want you to hurt yourself. 3, you're going to talk to your partner about this pattern. In 2, 1, go ahead, turn and talk. Dennis, you can go to Butler. Kristen, talking to Jalen and Jalea. Thank you to me and Bob.
It looks like as the zeros is multiplying by 1 over.
No, yes, but go more. What is the pattern to get from 10 to 100? That's what I want to know. What are you trying to have? They're all for them are the same. Okay, talk to me about the pattern to go from 100 to 10. What are you doing? Good, and what about 10 to 100? What are you doing? Nope, 100 to 10 to your body. What about 10 to 100?
Say that, Christopher.
Adding. What about 10 to 100?
My bad.
5, 4, back to your seat. 3, back to your seat. 2, 1. Thank you, Miller. And 0. Hand. What's the pattern? I'm going to call them 2 different people. Hands down. Biscuit number 1 in the back, and then I'm going to go to Jalen. Track Biscuit. Okay, so when we're going from tenths to hundredths, you said we're adding that 0. And then Jalen, going on with adding that 0. When we going from tenths to hundredths, we're adding that 0 because what are we doing? By good. We're multiplying it by what, everyone? Everyone? Good. So when we multiply, we're adding that 0, we're multiplying by 10, and I'm actually going to call one more person. What happened if we're going from those hundredths back to those tens? What's happening? Did it! I got one? Come on, mathematicians. I saw all that work on those written sentences. You know you can do this. Go ahead, Ronald Smith. Track in the back. You got it, dude. What's happening to those zeros, honey? And we're dividing by what? 3, 2, 1.
10.
Thank you, the girls in the middle. What are we dividing by?
10.
And so when we're dividing it, what's happening to those zeros? They are being what?
Multiply.
My bad.
Sent away.
Thank you. They're being what?
Sent away.
Thank you, erase.
I can erase my board.
Yeah. All right. This is what we did on Thursday. I need Dennis. This is what we did on Thursday, right? We showed tens and hundreds using this. How many full tens do you see shaded?
2.
2 tens and how many hundreds?
5.
Good. So what is this showing all together?
25.
25.
10.
Good. What?
100.
Try it again.
25.
25.
100.
So this is showing 25 hundredths. This is one way to show 25 hundredths, but today what I actually want you to do is figure out how to show 25 hundredths on this area model. Go down to that very last row.
I know how.
How can we show 25 hundredths using this one area model? Think about equivalent fractions. When I snap, talk to your partner about how we can show 25 hundredths on this area model. 3, 2, 1, talk. We're gonna go talk to Calvin. What can we do? Yes, what can we do? 30 tens, but we only have 25. What can we do? But how can we get those 5 there? We're only showing tens right now. You're close with that split. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Dixon, you said it perfectly. Track Dixon, please, silently. Chloe and Mariah are tracking. Okay, so he said draw a line, and we just did this. If we're starting with tens, and we want to show hundredths, what do we do? How do we get from tens to hundreds? Call it out.
Split it in half.
By half, but now I have 20 pieces.
Oh.
Yes?
We can do 2 boxes of 2 holes and in the third box we can do 5.
Okay, I think you're almost there, but I want to show equivalency. We have tens right here, and we need to make this into hundreds. Kayan.
Maybe we just shade in two boxes, and for the third one we just put that in the 10.
What if we split everything?
Oh, yeah.
Well, how do we get from 10 to hundreds?
By multiply.
Okay, by what?
Multiply.
By what?
Multiply.
By what?
10.
By what?
10.
So how can we show it here?
Oh, we can do the
Let's do it. Go.
Butler's decomposing silently. Decomposing silently.
When you're done, I want you to check to make sure. Do you have hundredths? Did you create hundredths? I like the guessing and testing. Good. Uh-huh. Make them really, really small. How are you going to make hundredths? Thank you. Once you've made hundredths, go ahead and shade in 25 hundredths. Good. I like that you're double checking. 90, you're at 90, get to 100. Thank you for shading in 2500. Good. Let's check this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. You only have 50. Good. So see how she did? She made 10 rows and 9 lines. Can you do the same? She did 10 rows by drawing 9 lines to split it into getting from 10s to 100s. Look at the board, okay? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You should be silent. Your legs should not underneath of your desk so that you can chalk the board and grow that big brain. All right, so we have 2500. We now need to shade it in. How am I going to shade in 2500? I got 2 mathematicians. I got 3 mathematicians. I have 4 mathematicians, 5 mathematicians, 6, 7, 8. Love it. Hands down, Mariah. And okay, so 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Looking at your model, go ahead and do the same. I want us to now break this into 3, fix it, 2, fix it, 1. I want us to break this into a number bond. Using this area model, how many full 10s do we have? And how many hundreds do we have? Go ahead and fill that out, level 1. Use the area model to help how many 10s create 2500s and how many hundreds. Wait, 20 10? It's 20 what? It could be 20 hundreds, that's good, and then how many hundreds left right here? So that was correct. What is 20 hundredths equivalent to? So either one. Yep. So now I need the number bond. How many tens and how many hundreds? All right, Rania did something interesting. Rania, can you start out with what you first said?
What I first said was 2010.
I like that you made that mistake and then you fixed it. Thank you. So what did you make it into? And what did you say that 2 tenths was equivalent to? Bless you.
20 hundreds.
Okay, so we could have written 20 hundredths or 2 tenths. And how many hundredths are left? 3, 2, 1, 5! Good. We're going to do 2 more before the problem set, just like this. Go ahead and show me 52 hundredths number bond. And area model. Level 1, go. Or you can just do it on the next one. It doesn't matter. Nope. Nope. Wait, problem set. We have 2 more problems. How did you get to hundreds before? Split it, last one. How are you going to do it? Good, you split it. Where's your last 2 hundredths shaded in? Shaded in. Right now. Oh, you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You want 52?
Yeah. Did you see that?
Oh. Nice, careful jar. And draw that number out. Let's start it here. How can you show 52 hundredths? the number bond in one. Love it. 52 hundredths. How many tenths is created? Girls. 5 what? 3. 5 tenths or Kristen, what were you saying? What were you saying? 5 tenths or? 5 hundredths?
No, 50.
It's a point. 5 tenths, look at your thing. 5 tenths is the same as what? How many hundredths? Thank you. Because what are you multiplying by?
10.
Over. Good. And then boys, how many hundredths are left? 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. Good. One more. Erase. Go. Still is getting started right away. Dixon and Lorenzo are getting started right away. Good. Nice number one. A push is once you have that number bond and how many tenths you have. The push is to show how many hundredths that is equivalent to, just like Neil. Get Neil and Gator back for that. 5 what? 5 tenths, 5 hundredths. All right, Samia, hit me, girl. What you got? And how can we give this a push and show the equivalent hundredths? How can we show that push? Tamia, caught on a nice brand. Go ahead.
30.
And how do we get from 3 tenths to 30 hundredths? Call it out.
Multiplying 10.
10 over.
10.
Good. Erase. One thing. Just kidding. Open up your binder. Oh, wait, not yet. Five. Binders out. Dixon is out. 4. Binders out. 3. Problem set out. 2. Problem set out. 1. Problem set is out like Rania. Problem set is out in 0. Good. What I want you to do, Millen, is you're going to start with the stars. Do the stars first. So are you going to do 1A?
Yes.
Are you going to do 1B first?
No.
Are you going to do 2A? Are you going to do 3B?
No.
So you're going to start with the stars. You have 10 silent minutes. Go.
Dennis got started right away. Leia got started right away. We're gonna see for her.
multiplication, filling in those blanks. What I'm missing is that last sentence where it says record it as a decimal. So once you've recorded the multiplication and filled in those blanks, make sure you go and you rewrite that whole thing as a decimal, just like we did in the beginning of this class. Good. So now you have 3/10, and then show me what that's equivalent to. Shade in the same, so it's showing the same equivalent thing. So erase this first one. Okay, and I'll show you in 30. Good. Okay, so now find the equivalent hundred. Jillian, what did you shade in? Huh? 35. Good. So can you tell her how to do that? And then I'll come back to you. Hold on. Ready? Let's do find out all the directions. Right? And I need you to shade and then write as a decimal. Can you shade this in? Can you shade 3 times in? Dennis is working. Randy is working. Okay, so now you have 3/10. Can you shade the equivalent one in the hundred? Mariah's working, Chloe. Good. So now, what do we multiply by? And you can limit the variable how to get from 3/10 to 30 hundredths. How many more groups did you make? You went from 3 to 30, right? So you have 10, 20, 30. So let's fix that number 1. Honey, 3/10 is the same as how many hundredths? No, look first here. 3/10, how many hundredths? How many hundredths? And the baby, how many hundredths? There's, okay, and then there's how many rows of that. Go back into that. Go back into that. How many hundredths did you shade in right here? Okay, so 3/10 is how many hundredths? 30. What did you multiply? 30. I'm still seeing some of you missed on that first one, the recording column as a decimal to get it fully right. Thirty-seven hundredths. Can you show 37 hundredths here? Can you make it so you can show those hundredths? How? I'll go do that first. Yeah, Kristen's still there. Okay, so this is correct. The decimal is 0.3 equals 0.30. Good work. So let's go down here. Why don't we read
10.
In all.
Oh, 100.
So 37 pieces out of
7.
how many pieces in all?
10.
How many pieces in all? Turn around. When you're done, you would do the dots. Please don't just sit there. Huh? Okay, so that's your denominator.
Oh.
Write that as a decimal.
Oh, decimals.
Mm-hmm.
3.
Go back and fix these two. Good. Record as a decimal. Purple, you're doing some weird things right now. Record it as a decimal. Yes. What about this fraction form?
Oh, I gotta do this. I did it.
Okay, so let's get this. Get out your marker, and can you show me on this one 3700ths? All right, so I'm going to redo this, and then this is correct, and this is correct, but this part isn't. Can you get out your whiteboard and marker and read in 3700ths for me? Girl, don't go ahead like that. Butler. Freeze. What I want you to do is I'm going to give you a quick 30 seconds. Listen closely. In that quick 30 seconds, you are going to be checking your work with the person sitting next to you. If you got the same answers, that means you probably got it right before we check it. If you found some mistakes, then work together to fix those. You have 30 quick seconds to check that work. Go. I hear Lanisha checking her work. Miller, why don't you come with Calvin? Honey, you just got here.
There's all these asses.
You have 12 more seconds to please shade that work. Good. Can you write that in fraction form? All right, that was a quick 30 seconds. Thank you to those gentlemen and ladies who were working in checking that work the whole time. Bring it back to your seats. Great. 5, 4 seats, 3, 2 seats, 1 seat. Control your body. Number 1. 3/10 times equals 30. 30. 0.3 is the same as 0.30. Good. Go down to number 2. Hand. How many tenths? How many hundredths? Jalen. How many? We're on number 2, And? Dennis, how do we write it in fraction form?
Fraction form, 7.
We're on number 2,
Oh, 7.
In the decimal?
Fraction form?
Fraction form, 3, 7. Oh, 37.
Thank you. How do we write this in decimal form? Go ahead, Julia. Good. Go down to number 3. How many hundredths do we have in all? Kion?
We have 1200.
12 hundredths is created by how many tens, Miller?
1
And?
2 1.
Excellent. What I want us to do is pause right here. I have one question before you get to the exit ticket. Maybe. So today we worked on using area models. Last week we did tape diagrams. I want you to think about which one makes the most sense to your brain and which one you like to use. When I snap, you're going to talk to your partner. Do you like using the tape diagram to show tenths and hundredths, or do you rather show it using the area model? Which one does your brain like best and why? 3, 2, 1, go.
I like using the shot because it's much easier for me because I know how to do with the tape diagram. It's really complicated. So fast, man. You don't know this tape? No, but 1.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Which one do you like better and why? Hands down, Ron.
The tape diagram, because this one's easier to
Give me a thumbs up, or if you agree with Ron that you like the tape diagram more than the area model. Area model is what we just did. Interesting. Hands down. Give me a thumb up if you like the area model, which is this, what we did today. Hands down. Chrislyn, why?
1.
Jason, try. Great. And that's okay that both of you have 2 different ways. What I want us to do now is flip safely. Flip safely. I'm going to read it out loud so you know exactly what to do. Use both tens and hundredths to represent each fraction. You can draw the place value disc, which is the 3rd way, right here. Use both tens and hundredths to represent each fraction. Write the equivalent decimal and fill in the blanks to represent each. So this is what I need you to do. I need you to represent each one in a way that makes sense to your brain. Disc, area model, tape diagram. Then I need you to fill out the missing decimal. Okay? Rip it silently. Put your binders away. Lanisha did it silently. Miller's the point for silent. Jalea's ripping it silently. Jalen's ripping it silently. The only thing left on your desk should be your exit ticket. You have 5 silent minutes. Chloe's working silently. You already told me that, honey. Yep, you gotta represent it. Can't be a 4. Make sure that you're representing it, like to Mia and Lanisha. Represent it.